time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is.
Welcome to the Matthew Mania Podcast. I'm Matthew Maschler, real estate broker who watches wrestling as if it's my job. And with me, the co-host of the Matthew Mania Podcast, Neil Glazer. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Good, Matthew. How you doing?
I'm doing great because we have two very, very special guests in the studio with us today. First, I'd like to introduce VinaMarie Prizzi. Prizzi, I said that right?
Pizzo.
Mm-hmm. I put an R in. I apologize. She is one of the producers here at Podpopuli that runs our podcast studio. Hi, VinaMarie. How are you?
Hi, Matthew. Good. How are you?
I am very good, very good. So, how long have you been working here now at Podpopuli?
About 7 months.
7 months.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, I very much enjoy working with you.
Me too. You're one of my favorite podcasters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're actually one of the only 1 out of 5 podcasters that have my real phone number.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
So, I remember when I was younger, before I met my wife, we could talk about girls with my real phone number. No. But that's the subject of a very different podcast, not one that I'm familiar with. So I really enjoy coming into Podpopuli. It makes it very easy. I have a lot of words I want to say, so I could just come in here and say them into the microphone, and you guys do the rest.
That's why you have 2 podcasts.
I have 2 podcasts. I asked VinaMarie which one she wanted to be on, and Matthew Mania made sense. It's my personal podcast where I can talk about anything I want. She was a little nervous. We're not talking about wrestling, but unless you want to buy a house, we could go to the Real Estate Finder podcast. But
I actually do.
Oh,
so,
all right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do another episode.
Yeah.
So talk to me as a realtor. I want to explore that, but talk to me about podcasting. Were you in the podcast space before you came here?
I was in television, actually. Yeah. I worked for CBS.
Oh, really?
And then in college, I did radio as well. So podcasting is new to me, but I love it.
You said, and then you did radio in college, but
I did radio first,
yeah.
And as an internship, and then I moved on. When I graduated college, I went to CBS television.
The local CBS or national CBS?
I was actually managing Los Angeles.
Oh,
remotely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you work with like Paramount Network as well, or just with the CBS local?
Just CBS. Yep, their local channel in Los Angeles.
We have a lot of friends who are on CBS television shows.
Oh yeah.
Like The Challenge and
cool.
Big Brother,
Survivor's on CBS. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually in charge of putting all of their advertisements and their commercials on those shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Sometimes we try to explore if we can get our BRCW show on TV and how that would work with getting commercials and stuff like that. So that would be actually something interesting to talk about when we're not being recorded. And we have another guest in the studio today besides VinaMarie. Who'd you bring with us?
Joa. This is Mr. Joa.
Hi, Joa.
Today's his 2-month birthday.
Joa is 2 months old, and you can't teach that. And it is raining and pouring here in Boca Raton, Florida. As a real estate agent, we don't like to talk about that. And one of the reasons I even came in today, because I was thinking of canceling, is because I knew Joa was here and I wanted to see him.
And he loved your shirt.
He loves my shirt. My shirt is a lot of different colors.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out which one he likes the best.
Yeah, all of them.
So tell me, do you get to listen to a lot of the podcasts while you're here?
I do, and that is what teaches me about podcasting. That's how I learned. Yeah.
And obviously, you have to listen to my nonsense about wrestling and nonsense about real estate. But what is besides mine too? What is like the weirdest or craziest podcast you've heard so far?
There's no weird ones. A lot of them are about personal experiences. That's what mostly people podcast about. And I think it's good because it's their outlet. It's their way to get things out.
Yeah.
It's their therapy.
Yeah, I could see that. The podcast studio is decorated with logos from all these different podcasts. And sometimes I look over and there's one called the Daily Dose of Torah, and it's right next to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. And
coincidence.
It's just they're just assorted. So sometimes you just like to. That's why I said like what's the weirdest one, because Secrets of a Sugar Daddy sounds sounds so risque. But the Daily Dose of Torah, does the rabbi come in every day and record a podcast?
No, he's remote.
He's
actually.
remote.
Yes.
Yeah. It would probably be too much to.
And I don't think it's a daily dose. I think it's probably a weekly dose.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For being honest.
Yeah. Shout out to Rabbi New for the Daily Dose of Torah, the Chabad of Boca Raton near the beach. It's walking distance to this podcast studio.
So you know him?
I do. I do. I feel I know all the rabbis in town. But the Chabad of East Boca, they're expanding, and there's a lot of people moving to East Boca, and he always does the Hanukkah candle lighting in Meisner Park, and
the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so it's an amazing Chabad, an amazing thing that he built out here. So I get to stare at him, his face in the logo on the logo
You look at
wall
him every time you record?
Yeah, well, all the different misunderstood, all the different podcasts, the Psychic Girl Show, and the Bachelorette. I guess she was on the Bachelorette TV show because she's standing there with a rose. Mm-hmm. So it's an inspiration. It's interesting to hear who else is on. I always thought that they should do like a network, right? All the different people who record at Podpopuli as a network, because I'd browse through.
Well, we do have a podcast called Living Boca.
Living Boca.
So we should feature you on that one day.
Sure. Who runs that one?
Paige Kornblue.
Oh yeah, we love.
But she hasn't started it yet though.
Uh-huh.
But we're going to.
She had one turning the page.
She just calls it the Paige Kornblue Show.
The Paige Kornblue Show.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then she also has a podcast called Inside the Boca Bowl.
Inside the Boca Bowl.
The Boca Raton Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's about the football game.
Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes we talk about inside the Boca Bubble, so the Boca Bubble is different than the.
There's a podcast called that, isn't there?
There might be. There was one. What was one?
Ethan says yes.
Ethan says yes. What is it? Behind the light. It's not called Behind the Light, and it's the Boca Bubble.
Oh yeah, the Boca Bubble right there.
Yeah. Which was the one? Crazy Rich Neighbors. Do they still record here?
No.
They were one of my favorites. I listened to a lot of their podcasts.
What was it about?
It was about stories about neighbors in Boca and HOAs.
Oh, that's a good
stuff.
one.
Yeah.
Why don't you do some episodes on that for Real Estate Finder?
I don't have the stories. I can go to Facebook and say, does anyone have any great crazy HOA stories? Want to come on the?
Or start asking your clients.
Yeah, that would be fun. Some of the stories are just painful.
But they're good content.
They are good content. So, so what do you like best about working at Podpopuli?
The people.
Yeah.
I love the people. I love talking to everybody. I love getting to know them. I love listening to their podcasts. I really love the people the best.
Awesome.
Ethan can vouch for that.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And do you work with any of the other locations? What do they have besides Boca? They have Palm Beach Gardens?
Palm Beach Gardens. Yep. My colleague Travis, he's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's really good with the tech. So every time I have a tech question, I can call him. He's great.
Any other locations in South Florida?
No, just that.
Orlando?
No, not yet.
Orlando would make sense. Orlando's big, though.
Yeah.
You have to find the right location. I know that they opened up they were going to open up a Vegas location. I'm going to Vegas next week, but I don't think they actually opened it.
No, not yet. No. So. But we do have clients from Orlando that come here.
They drive here?
They drive here, and then they record all in one day.
Oh.
Yeah. They do a bunch of episodes.
That's cool. Real estate agents? No.
Nope.
I always think there's a lot of real estate agents in Florida.
There are. Yeah. There are.
And no other wrestling podcasts?
No, absolutely not.
Other combat sports like UFC or anything like that?
Nope. No, just baseball. And then there's this one guy that does like a few different sports in one. And then we have a lot of football podcasts. You're the only wrestling.
All right. I wasn't going to ask you any wrestling questions, but have you been to my show?
Have I been where?
To our wrestling show.
No, but I want to go to the next one now that I'm not pregnant.
That's probably with him being 2 months old and you being pregnant and probably kept you away. But the next one's May 18th. It's here in Meisner Park.
So I can come to that one.
Yeah. Feel free.
It's at the studio, right?
It's at the studio.
I saw that in your episode descriptions.
Yes. We're at the studio May 18th and August 31st for Summer Smash. And then in May, when they announce the Dolphins schedule, then I'll set the dates for the fall and winter. And we have to come up with some places we like to move around. Or we travel. We're not worldwide like WWE. We travel around Boca.
Well, when you have all the fun ones, I will definitely be there.
It'll be fun. Where do you live in Boca?
I do, yeah.
But
really home for me is Deerfield Beach, though.
Deerfield Beach.
Yeah.
You grew up there?
No, but became home.
Became home. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Philly.
Oh yeah.
And South Jersey, yeah.
South Jersey.
Both.
Where in Philly?
South Philly, right
South
near the
Philly.
stadiums. I don't know if you've ever been.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
WrestleMania last year.
Oh yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
Where? Xfinity?
No, the football stadium, Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park?
Yeah.
Lincoln Financial, I mean.
Lincoln Financial. I got an eagle sitting on my WrestleMania logo.
That is amazing.
I don't like
How
that
did I
one.
not know?
Yeah, I don't like that logo with the eagle on it.
Well, I need to see it.
I have to. I wear that one like if I'm going like the beach or somewhere where I'm risking losing or making my hat dirty. I'll bring that one because I'm not an Eagles fan.
Well, it's dark green, so it can get dirty.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You won't see it.
Yeah. And I think that was the most nights I've ever spent in Philadelphia.
How many nights?
5 or 6. I've driven through it a lot because I grew up in New York and I went to college in Maryland, and I'd stop for a cheesesteak as I drove to or from
Which
school.
place?
Well, on those drives, it was mostly Pat's. On WrestleMania week, went to a lot of places that were better than Pat's. I like the arguments that people make about what's better, Pat's or Geno's or Jim's or John's or whatnot. What's your place?
I have been told that it's Jim's, but I actually don't eat cheesesteaks.
Oh, you don't eat cheesesteaks?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
What's interesting about the arguments when people argue cheesesteaks, and I was thinking after when I got back from Philly, I wanted to do a cheesesteak episode. I probably don't have enough memories now of all the different places I went.
Oh, it's too long.
But people are very passionate,
Oh, yeah.
but they also recommend places that they haven't been to in 15 or 20 years. Like people were recommending Jim's for years when Jim's was closed.
Yeah, and like people die. Recipes change.
Yeah. Jim's had a fire. They were closed for years and years. And everybody's like, no, you got to go to Jim's. And I'm like, Jim's is closed. Like, Jim's has been closed for 5 years. Like, you can't go there.
Yeah.
But we stayed right by the Reading Terminal Market.
Oh, the hot spot for food.
Yeah, we had some good cheesesteaks in there and some other sandwiches. And then
You're near Chinatown too there.
yeah, we didn't get to there. We were mostly doing wrestling stuff. But we'd hit the Terminal Market. They closed early though. But what's fun is, you know, getting into those arguments and people like there's some people that really hate on Pat's and Geno's. And when I'm arguing with those people, I'll just wait and bide my time, and I'll be like, no, there's a place for it, and they're like, no, it's not okay. I'm like, no, sometimes it's right. No, it's never okay. I'm like, well, what if it's 2 a.m? Oh, if it's 2 a.m, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So the classic Pat's and Geno's, it's not as good. It's the classic, they're the original, but there are some better places, but not at 2 a.m. No.
It's just to get the experience.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh, I had a cheesesteak in Philly.
Exactly. And then now they do the Cooper white cheese that's been popular now. It's a sharp American cheese. And
So
then,
you can't just say whiz wit or whiz wit out anymore because you have to specify,
right.
do I want the Cooper?
right. Well, Pat's and Geno's, it's still, you know, I think it's whiz, or they might have some choices of provolone and some others. Where did I go? I had a good one. And it used to be, what's the one that made the chain that opened up in Atlantic City? Oh no, I'm not remembering. See, that's what I said. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to talk about cheesesteaks. But there was a place, and then one of the guys got arrested. Let me see. They opened up a chain. Tony Luke's. Tony Luke's was really good, and then they split up, and I think one of the guys got arrested, and then that original location became something else. But Tony Luke's, I'm Googling now. Tony Luke's original location became Tony and Nick's. Tony and Nick's, and that was one.
That can't be the same.
It was the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was Tony Luke's became like a chain. They franchised out. Tony Nick's was one of the was one of the better ones that I went to in Philadelphia. So I'll have to go back to Philadelphia to eat my way through. D'Alessandro's. Mm-hmm. Have you been?
No, but I've heard that one's good too.
It's hot garbage.
What?
Hot garbage.
Really?
It's like if you take garbage and heat it up and put it on bread.
Whiz wit or whiz wit out?
It was just disgusting. I went with Wendy once, and I could actually prove it's not just opinion. I could actually prove how bad it is scientifically. Like I took like 3 bites and like I threw it away. Like it has to be bad if I'm just not even going to finish it. Like not even.
Do you not
even
finish food often, or is
No,
it?
I'm gonna. If it was medium good, I'd eat it.
Yeah.
It was so bad I didn't eat it.
Like it was unbearable.
Unbearable. It was terrible because what they do is they cook all the steak on the grill, but they cook so much of it on top of each other that it becomes like steamed instead of grilled.
So it's like microwaved.
Yeah, it was so bad. And I like arguing with people on Facebook and stuff from Philadelphia about D'Alessandro's being hot garbage. So I like to get it out there as much as I can.
And now it's on the podcast.
And now it's on the podcast. I might have mentioned it in the past. I've been known to call them hot garbage, but and I don't like when they chop it up so much that you can't even like bite, like when it's totally like minced. Mm-hmm. Like I still have teeth. I still want to chew my food a little bit.
Still have teeth.
I want to chew my food a little bit. Not like Joa.
Yeah, actually, he's getting a tooth.
He's getting a tooth,
and that's too early. So talk to his doctor about that.
Oh, that's gonna be painful.
Yeah.
So what's it like working and having the baby?
Well, it's just a lot less sleep.
Yeah.
That's all it is, really. I'm still doing the same amount of work. I'm just not sleeping as much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little more exhausting.
Yeah.
But
are you flexible because you do some of your work from home?
Yeah, most of my work is home now. So thank God.
That
really
is
grateful for that.
It's an amazing time that we live in, an amazing technology.
Yes.
That people can do that.
But I wouldn't be anything without the producer. So Ethan has really had my back here at the studio with all the recordings.
Yeah. Ethan, how long have you worked here? I don't know. Yeah. Longer than VinaMarie or shorter?
No, shorter. I think he started in November, I believe. So 5 months.
Yeah. Well, having been here for almost 3 years now and seen a lot of people coming and going, I say, Ethan, you're all right.
And he would tell you if you're not.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No, I just wouldn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you know what I do? At some point, I get to the point I don't even talk to the person.
Well, you do eventually.
Do you remember the person before, Ethan?
I was going to say, that's why they've been through so many producers.
I stopped talking to him?
Yeah, they're like, I can't deal with that guy.
Do you remember the person before, Ethan?
Yes.
Yeah. Train wreck. All right.
Well, okay.
All right. So anyway, if you have an idea for a podcast, and you want it to be it can be very easy for you. If you have an idea for a podcast, go to podpopuli.com. If you live in Boca or Palm Beach Gardens or wherever, they have 30 studios. How many?
5.
5 studios throughout the country. Phoenix, Arizona.
No, Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
Uh-huh.
I think they're the same. It's like Delray,
Greenwich,
Boca.
Connecticut.
Greenwich, Connecticut. Oh, Greenwich, Connecticut.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Uh-huh. And
Palm
to
Beach
as well.
Gardens. Right. And Boca Raton.
And then you can just come into Podpopuli, sign up. They'll put your name and logo on the wall with the rabbi and the sugar daddy. And anyway, no, in all seriousness, if you have an idea for a podcast, come down, talk to the team at Podpopuli.
Pursue your dream. Do it. You will not regret it.
It's a lot of fun. It was a great decision I made. I'm very happy I did it. I just launched 2 new Instagram accounts dedicated to the podcasts.
Oh.
So we just launched the Real Estate Finder podcast on Instagram and Matthew Mania Podcast on Instagram. I didn't use the because of the Facebook movie. It was thefacebook.com and they...
What? Really?
Yeah, it was the Facebook and then .com and then they dropped the. So
Real Estate Finder on Instagram.
On Instagram, Real Estate Finder Podcast.
Podcast.
Because I had a Real Estate Finder account on Instagram already. And I had a Matthew Mania account on Instagram already. So Matthew Mania Podcast, Real Estate Finder Podcast on Instagram. We put some clips and tips and other things about the podcast. So we just launched those because my social media influence is on the rise.
Yes.
Getting a little celebrity.
And your podcasts have a really good following.
Getting good podcasts on good following on the podcast. Thank you very much for listening, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us on the Matthew Mania Podcast. Check us out at MatthewMania.com. And if you would like to be on the podcast or have any suggestions for the podcast, email me, Matt@MatthewMania.com.
Thank you.
You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. Yeah, got him shook, scared, can't look. We're not afraid of the big bad wolf. First comes the right, followed by the left hook. Execute perfect, this is textbook. If you ever test, make sure you bring the best. Head into the ring with the M on my chest. Any match, bring the ladders and the tables. Lock us in the cage and nobody can save you. When it's war, I'm coming to destroy. Napalm blast, I'm coming with the noise. They chant for the king, the girls and the boys. They saying I'm the best cause they didn't have a choice. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is.